Good evening. Tonight we will be discussing Imbolc and its place in the Wheel of the Year. Imbolc, sometimes referred to as Candlemas, takes place around February 1st and is the first day of spring in the Pagan calendar. The first signs of life are seen returning to the earth, the sheep are in lamb, and spring will soon be evident. Imbolc is also the feast of the fire goddess Brigid. This name would eventually evolve into Brigid when she was Christianized. Even after this, however, she continued to be worshipped as a goddess in Ireland. Imbolc is the first rite of spring. The dark of winter is in the past, and now the goddess takes on the robes of the maiden, and the god is seen as a young boy, ready and eager to explore the world. This is a time of initiations, and many Wiccan and Pagan groups will initiate new members on this day. This is not necessary, however, as initiations can be done anytime, even during sabbat celebrations. There are many ways to celebrate the season of Imbolc. Black or dark red candles for the goddess as the crone, and white candles for the goddess as the maiden can be lit. This can be part of a greater ritual or simply a rite all on its own. Golden candles, if you can find them, are sometimes used to represent the god as a young boy. If you can't find gold, light green is entirely appropriate for the season. Time should be spent thinking about the season to come as the candles burn down. An alternative to candles is to use ice. A large piece of ice can be held over a bowl of warm water, not boiling water, just warm. Spend some time considering what the coming of spring represents, and then lower the ice into the water. It will slowly melt, which is the perfect representation of how slowly spring arrives after the long, cold dark of winter. Once the ice is fully melted and the water has warmed to a reasonable temperature, it can be poured on a favorite plant, indoors or out. As a part of the Wheel of the Year, Imbolc is the time when the goddess reawakens after her long slumber. She is energized and ready to bring warmth back to the earth. There are many symbols associated with Imbolc. Some of these include purification, initiation, healing, candles, and all things related to fire. People of old would have been glad of this season, for there is suddenly some food available that has not been preserved from last fall. Chickens are starting to lay their eggs again. Sap starts to run in the trees. There are many dishes that use these foods that are appropriate for Imbolc. Some of these include butterflied lamb, young fresh vegetables, omelets, quiche, pancakes, champagne jelly, frozen fruit bombs, and even candle cake, which is a personal favorite of mine. The drinks consumed at this time of year should represent the freshness of the season and should be full of life and enthusiasm. Champagne is ideal, but sparkling wine, lemonade, or mineral water are all suitable alternatives. Sparkling water is very appropriate, as this is the time when the spring thaw commences, and ice-cold bubbling water would have been one of the signs of the returning spring. As mineral water is not really most people's idea of a celebratory drink, you can try adding a squeeze of fruit juice, such as lemon, orange, lime, or grapefruit. White grape or apple also work well. As the weather is still not warm in early February, at least where I live, fruit teas are also good at this season and can be chosen either for their properties or for their taste. At Imbolc, the coming of strength and of spring is celebrated. It is still not warm in most regions of the northern hemisphere, however, so outdoor activities may be limited. A walk through the snow to spot the first signs of life may be all that can occur, depending on the temperature. But if you can, sledding, skating, skiing, or any winter activity you enjoy is appropriate for this time of year and a great way to celebrate the season. A more traditional practice is the crown of light. This was quite literally a crown of candles. This is certainly not practical for most people, and it can be replaced with a circle of flowers instead. These flowers represent the flowers of spring and are entirely appropriate to the season. Real flowers are ideal, but real flowers don't grow well in early February, so silk or paper flowers will work just as well. Some Wiccan or pagan groups choose to use electric candles instead of real ones. This is also acceptable. Children can make their own candle crown using cardboard instead of real candles. This should be painted all white, and the crown part can be decorated with yellow and silver flowers to represent spring. Orange tissue paper makes for a lovely little flame for children, as especially small children should not be playing with fire. Many Wiccans and pagans celebrate this season with a powerful ritual. As sabbats are celebratory in nature, magic is generally not worked at these rituals. Another way to experience the season is through the way you dress, whether you wear ritual robes, fancy clothing, or even just your street clothing. You can incorporate the traditional colors of Imbolc. These include red, white, yellow, and very light green. You can do either dressing in those colors, you can decorate your space in those colors, or you can simply use those colors every day at this time of year in any way that makes sense to you. Imbolc is regarded as a wonderful time of celebration for Wiccans and pagans around the world. It is a time of merriment and feasting, and a time to rejoice in the coming of spring. Thank you for joining us this week. Blessed be.